friends, welcome to the Jazz Ranch, hip cats, groovy chicks, and finger poppin' daddies. Welcome to the OBS studio. This is my radio station, TV station here. I'm your moderator this evening, and I'm going to be talking about a special request I had to talk about modal playing, fourth voicings, and quartal harmony. Now, this is something that came about and made popular in the mid-60s and the 70s by people like John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Clay Tyner, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock. It's the modern sound. At least it was back then. Now there's new sounds, but it's still modern compared to the music of the 40s and 50s in jazz. And so I have a special quote for you starting out here. It comes from John Coltrane, one that I can relate to very nicely. It's called "My Music." He says this: "My music is the spiritual expression of what I am, my faith, my knowledge, my being. When you begin to see the possibilities of music, you desire to do something really good for people, to help humanity free itself from its hang-ups." That's sort of like saying, you know, freeing yourself up from the hang-up of wearing dark glasses inside during the day. So I can relate to that. So now here we go with a great song called Green Dolphin Street. I'm going to talk about quartal harmony and fourth voicings. Here we go. Okay, welcome. Now, this is the OBS studio that I just started using, so I'm still learning the technique of it. It's pretty complex, but what you see now are actually 5 screens. You see a headshot, a frontal shot of me, and you see down here my keyboard as I play it. and then you see the notes lighting up that I'm playing, and then you see what the chord name is to the left there, and then you see it written out for you. Now I'm also going to be using a score which you can download, and that might be more practical for you to follow along, and I'll try to put some of that up here on the screen as well. Now I'm going to be talking about quartal voicings or fourth voicings. Now I call this the modern sound, but it's really started back in the late 50s, 60s, mostly 70s, stronger, and the 60s with McCoy Tyner, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, people like that. You know, Horace Silver used them as well. Prior to that, in the 40s and 50s, everything was mostly block chords, you know, formed root, third, fifth, seventh. So there's your major seventh, your dominant sevenths, your minor sevenths, your sixth chords, and so on. And so we're building in thirds. Now with quartal harmony or with fourth voicings, you're building in fourths. Now they can be either perfect fourths, or you can have augmented fourth. You can also have a diminished fourth, but that's really a major third. So we won't be using too much of that, but we'll be using the perfect fourths now. Perfect fourths just means the fourth step of that scale, C, and then from the F, play a perfect fourth, you have to play the F scale, the fourth step. So it'd be the B flat. So there's stacked fourths, and then if I add another fourth, B flat, up to E flat. So you have that sound. Now you could add a third above that, major third, you'd have this sound. Sorry. You have that sound. Then moving it stepwise and then chromatically gives me this type of sound. Now, in the song Green Dolphin Street, I used, first chord that I used is this, a C6-9. I mean, this is after the introduction, of course. I'm playing the melody part. So I'm using that fourth voicing built on an E. It's an E7 sus, but I'm putting a C on the bottom. Now, you really have to put the root on the bottom, and if I'm playing, you know, rootless chords like this, you know, they're not necessarily going to have the correct name, because you have to have the root on the bottom, and I'm not always going to be playing the root on the bottom. In fact, that chord, E7 sus, formed like that, E-A-D, if I put a C on the bottom, it's a C6-9. But if I put an F on the bottom, it's an F major 13. If I put an E on the bottom of the bass note, then it's an E7 sus 4. And if I put an A as a bass note, it's an A sus 4. So what you have with fourth voicings is you have ambiguity and you have versatility. In other words, there's more possibilities of the way you can use these chords. Not the same for block chords. They're pretty specific. And these are more abstract and more, you know, like I say, versatile and ambiguous. So those would be the majors. Now, to get to the minor, where can you see now? To get the minor chord, I can just lower that third a half step. Now I have the C minor 6-9. So 6 major 6-9, C minor 6-9. Now the other minor chord I could use would be C minor, I'm saying, would be to play it in its root position like this. Now this says it's C7 sus, but it can still function as a C minor, and I can invert it, one inversion, and I have the minor third interval up here on top. So here I have the fourth, perfect fourths, with the dominant seventh there, the root there, and the minor third there. So that's the chord that I used. Okay, so now, the minor, I can use that voicing, fourths from the C sus, or I can use this voicing here. Now, this voicing has an augmented fourth, or tritone, on the bottom interval, and then a perfect fourth on the top. So those are the basic two that I'm going to be using in this video, is the perfect fourths and then the diminished fourth. I'm sorry. So those are the two I'm going to be using, the perfect fourths and then the augmented fourth on the bottom, which is the tritone, and then perfect fourth on the top. So those two. Now, like I say, for this one it can be a C6, it can be an E sus, it can be an F major 13, or it can be an A sus, depending on what bass note you have now. Now the C minor 9, that one with the augmented fourth on the bottom and perfect fourth on the top, it can be a C minor 6/9, it can be an F13, it can be a B7 sharp 9, or this is an odd one, but it can be a D, sounds not good there, it can be a D7 flat 9. That's same, the D7 voicing in the left hand. So you have all those possibilities. Now, the way I played it, I'm going to go through the tune with you now. And also I want to show you some voicings that you can use using these stacked with chords up top, like you can do. Let me just go up here. I did some of this. So I'm playing that fourth combination with adding another fourth up there, another fourth, and then a third on top. I'm getting a minor 7 with an 11 chord. And you can move these either stepwise, like that, or chromatic, like. That's very typical of McCoy Tyner type of sound, or Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock use those types of chords. And then you can do them with dominants too, like this. You know, I have a fourth voicing there, and then these are dominants. Oscar Peterson used those voicings quite a bit. So I'm going to go through the tune now, and there'll be a readout, a printout for you. And also on the sheets that I've written out for you, there's also some other combination of vamps and chordal progressions you can use and look at. So the first chord is the C6/9, right? And I went. Now to get this C minor, I'm using the fourth voicing built on the F there. And then I'm playing D6/9, D flat 6/9, C6/9, but I'm putting a C pedal tone against those, so it's not going to read out right. It's not going to read correctly here on the printing, but they're this sound. So that's very modal. So and then you can do an E minor to an A7. If you can play the A7 like this, those fourth voicings there, takes you to a D minor. So I'm going D minor. Now this is a G13. C6/9. Then it's the 2/5 to an F minor. So the whole progression now is moving up a minor third. Sharp 9, sharp 5. You know, there it is with fourths. Now there it is with an augmented fourth. And then you have E flat 6/9. Now that's the first half. Now that repeats, and on the last ending, it's a little bit different. And so normally I would play the half diminished as regular block chords, like minor, then E7 to A minor. But I'm giving you some examples of what you might do in fourths. D, sus4. Now here that's the B sharp, the augmented fourth with the sharp 9 sound. And then then there's a fourth voicing for the F, which is really an F half diminished. I'm using this voicing though. And then the B voicing there. Kind of interesting sounding. Then your E minor. Your A7, your D, sus. Yeah, so main thing I want you to understand and study this sheet and learn to play this song is to understand the basic fourth voicings that I'm using, and those are the perfect fourths, which you can use to form major chords or minor chords, or inverting them, you know, form minor chords, or also other types of major chords, like another type of sus and then another type of major chord. And then the augmented fourth with a perfect fourth, which can be used to play the minor 6th chord or the dominant 7th 13 chord. And then the other one that is more common, there's also commonly used, would be the, that's a diminished, and then the sharp 9. So it's going to be a B7 sharp 9 for that. So that same voicing now can be used again to review. C minor, S7, B7 sharp 9, and then this unusual diminished use of it as well. It's really a G flat diminished. Okay, so now what you can do, I'm going to give you a link below that will show you another video that I did, not only on Green Dolphin Street, but also on how to use my website and watch my videos and rewind them or slow down everything so that you can watch it slower. You can slow it down to 50% speed if you want, and it stays, the pitch stays the same. And also you can use the space bar to stop the action, and you can also use the arrows to go forward, or move backward if you want to repeat something that I said. So that should help you out with this. Let me know how it's working out for you, and I'll give you a sign off. Signing off from the Jazz Ranch. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please write to me. I love to hear from you. You know, people always ask me, they say, well, why are you always wearing dark glasses? Well, just because I like to. And I actually look better, see? Yeah. Now we're better now. Oh, now we feel good. It's so good to have some really good hang-ups that don't bother anybody. So until next time, I'll say in the words of my great friend Hermie Dresserly, he's up there looking down at us saying, swing loose. And he's still wearing the shades. Bye-bye.